Etymology and historical origin of the baby name Antoine. Antoine is primarily used by African Americans as a creatively respelled version of the French masculine name Antoine, English, Anthony. All of these names are ultimately derived from an old Roman family name Antonius from the gens Antonia. The Antonius clan name is of uncertain origin, probably developed from within the ancient Etruscan civilization in Italy, near modern-day Tuscany, whose language is now extinct. This democratic family name was shared by both the patrician and plebeian classes, and most famously borne by Mark Antony, Marcus Antonius, 83 BC-30 BC. Apparently Mark Antony invented a mythological person named Anton, son of Hercules, from whom he claimed descent, most likely in an effort to establish his own greatness. After Julius Caesar's assassination in 44 BC, Antony joined together with Octavian and Lepidus to form the Second Triumvirate. This political alliance would later collapse when Octavian defeated Antony and Cleopatra at the Battle of Actium, 31 BC. Shortly thereafter Antony and Cleopatra committed suicide, made famous by William Shakespeare's drama Antony and Cleopatra. In terms of the name Antonius, not much else is known about its origin. The English th was added later as some, erroneous, attempt to associate it with the Greek word anthos, flower, or anthropos, man. Different variations of the name came into circulation throughout Europe starting in the post-classical era thanks to a couple of early saints, especially the 3rd to 4th century Egyptian Saint Antony the Great, the father of all monks. St. Antony's life was memorialized by a Greek biographer shortly after his death, a written work which maintained widespread appeal throughout Europe up through the Middle Ages. St. Antony was not the first monk, as he's often credited for being, but he was the first to live as a hermit for more than a decade deep in the deserts, completely cut off from civilization. He was greatly admired for his ascetic life and religious discipline, apparently St. Antony successfully endured and overcame through prayer all sorts of supernatural temptations flung at him by the devil. Needless to say, St. Antony was one of the most revered saints in medieval Europe, and his name was often bestowed on children as a protective measure. St. Antony is also the patron saint against infectious diseases, which were rampant in the Middle Ages, particularly skin diseases that are still referred to as St. Anthony's fire, example, shingles. Folks prayed to him for relief. His feast day is January 17th. Due to the popularity of this name for over 2,000 years, several linguistic forms have endured into the modern era. Anthony/Antony, English, Anton, Scandinavian and Slavic, Antonio, Italian and Spanish, Antoine, French, and last but not least, Antoine, African American. Personality of the boy name Antoine. The number one personality is a leader, strong and competitive. They are willing to initiate action and take risks. One personalities work hard toward their endeavors and have the ability to apply their creative and innovative thinking skills with strong determination. They believe in their ability to succeed and are too stubborn to be hindered by obstacles. Ones meet obstacles head-on with such mental vigor and energy that you better step aside. They resent taking orders, so don't try telling them what to do either. This is an intensely active personality, but they are also known as starters rather than finishers. They have a propensity to become bored and will move quickly to the next project if not properly challenged. They are the ones to think up and put into action new and brilliant ideas, but they are not the ones to stick around and manage them. This personality has an enthusiastic and pioneering spirit. They are distinctly original. Popularity of the boy named Antoine. Antoine first appeared on the American male naming charts in 1970, which is a point in history marked by a cultural revolution taking place in the United States. Following the civil rights movement of the 1960s, Black Americans began to reclaim their own unique identity after years of oppression. One example of this repossession came in the form of how African Americans henceforth named their children. Several trends began to emerge in the 1970s, names of African origin such as Swahili names, Arabic names in keeping with Islamic faith, outright name inventions, etc. Antoine is an example of the respelling of a common name, in this case Antoine. By doing so, Antoine became distinctly black. Considering that Antoine's usage as a boy's name has always been mainly restricted to the African American community, about 14% of the U.S. population, we were surprised to see how high he actually got on the charts. The name's peak popularity came in 1979 at position number 399 on the charts. From a relative perspective, this is quite impressive. Today the name has dropped considerably and is no longer a top choice. In fact, Antoine fell off the top 1000 list of boys' names in 2011, the first time in 40 years. So maybe Antoine is no longer on the African American radar anymore. It's still a rather charming name that somehow keeps our interest. Quick facts on Antoine. Gender, boy. Origin, African American. Number of syllables, 2. Ranking popularity, not applicable. Pronunciation, Antoine. Simple meaning, uncertain. Characteristics of Antoine. Independent, successful, inventive, strong-willed, ambitious, individualistic. Cultural references to the baby name Antoine. Popular songs on Antoine. Antoine, a song by Bear vs. Shark. Famous people named Antoine. Antoine Barnes, football player. Antoine Applewhite, football player. Antoine Jameson, basketball player. Antoine Amadeus Thompson, music producer. Antoine Peake, football player. Antoine Harris, football player. Antoine Odom, football player. Antoine Andrew, copyright patent, aka Big Boy, rapper.